Welcome everyone to episode 102 of This Week in Geek. This is as far as we've ever done on a podcast with myself and my co-host Zach Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm excited. Am I still here? It keeps
Yeah, yeah,
kicking me.
you
Okay,
are.
cool. Yeah, man. No, I'm excited. We get to talk about the Batman delay, even though it's sad. But maybe we can spend some positivity on this thing, and it's
Hopefully.
just another good show. This is the last one of the year, right?
Yes, it's the last show of the year, the final This Week in Geek of 2024. And yes, we will have a show next week. At least as things stand right now, there is for sure a show next week. The
hmm
final show on this setting before I go back to London for 2025.
I know. Ren can afford two sets.
Because I don't pay for this one. That's the only reason. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. Whether you're watching us live right now, whether you're catching us on the replay, or listening to us on Spotify, thank you so much for finding us however you're finding us. In case you're new to This Week in Geek, we basically have three segments on the show. First, we go through our weekly ranking. That's when myself, Zach, and then you guys in the live chat go through everything we watched this past week, movies and TV, and rank it from the worst till the best. Then we go into our main topic. That's the topic on the title, the topic on the thumbnail. And in this case, as Zach mentioned, we're going to be discussing another The Batman Part 2 delay. It was going to be something completely different, but then yesterday, this happened. And then the third and final segment of the show is my personal favorite, is when we answer your question, which you can leave in the community tab on my channel. You will see a post that asking for your questions where the thumbnail for this video is also up. And in case we can't get to any and all questions, we apologize. But if you want to guarantee your question is answered, you can always support us through the tip link in the description or the super chat feature. And by the way, I don't say this enough. I actually don't think I've ever said this, but it's important to mention the tip link is always active. So if you leave questions there throughout the week, we will see them next Saturday and so on and so forth.
And we'll answer anything from there.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
pay us, we'll answer anything.
Exactly.
Oh,
Just correspond the price with the intimacy of the question. All right. With that out of the way, let's get to our weekly rankings, and I'm gonna get us started. I liked everything I watched this week since Christmas, and I'm going to start with Y2K. This is actually the film I watched on Christmas Eve in between dinner and midnight and hanging out and digesting all the food and drinking alcohol, which I'm not necessarily encouraging unless you are of age and choose to do so responsibly. This is really a really fun movie. It isn't great. It kind of veers into directions that are very uninteresting. I'm not sure what the purpose was of the celebrity cameo in that film that I had no idea was going to happen. But this celebrity is a much better actor than he is a director. I will tell you that much. On top of that, I'm going to have the new Wallace and Gromit special, which came out on Christmas Day, and it's just delightful. It has all the quintessential charm you want from Wallace and Gromit. They're back, and they're back in full force. On top of that, Zach, I've been rewatching the Bionicle films because I always watch them during Christmas, because I've always associated them with Christmas because they've always come out during Christmas time. When I was a kid, whenever they came out, the new Bionicle movie was one of my Christmas presents. So I've been watching them. There's a ranking in it of itself where the first one, still enjoy it, is the lowest, then the third film, and then the second. The prequel, Legends of Metro Nui, is the best Bionicle film by far for me. I've always loved this film. And in case you're one of the few people in the world who also loves these movies, the scores are actually available on Spotify. I discovered this because I had the score in my head, the main theme, and then I just typed Bionicle on Spotify, and there they are. And I've been listening to them nonstop. So if you're a fan of the Bionicle films, go enjoy um, go enjoy those scores as well. On top of that, this week's episode of Dragon Ball Daima And I know, Zach, that you are not watching Dragon Ball Daima yet, so I'm gonna keep this spoiler free. But this week's episode, I'm not listening. I'm not hearing you. I can't hear you. I was going to say. Now it says you're muted, but before it didn't say you were muted, and I still couldn't hear you. Nope. 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 Nothing yet. Sorry. I don't know what's happening because we were listening to Zach. We were hearing Zach just fine. Um, but before Zach comes back, let me just say he is not watching Dragon Ball Daima yet. I know a lot of you aren't necessarily Dragon Ball fans, but in case you want to become a Dragon Ball fan, as everyone else in the world should be, there's something that happens in this week's episode that is huge. It's massive. There's something that fans always wanted to see in the show, and it's finally been canonized. And I couldn't have been happier. I love the look of it. I love how it's presented in the story. I think it's such a good episode. It's probably my favorite episode yet of the show, and we're 12 episodes in, by the way, at this point. Let me just check on Zach for a sec, just in case he's telling me something on Twitter, and he's not, so we're all good. Um, and yes, very good episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Like I said, perhaps my favorite episode yet. And on top of that, my number one of the week. And it's interesting that we're transitioning from Dragon Ball in second place to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Finally watched it. And again, I didn't watch it late. It's just that we only got the film released here this week. Unfortunately, the rest of the world has seen it. I still went about it spoiler free. So if you haven't seen Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the review is now on the channel. This film is great. This film is so much fun. And why it's interesting that we transitioned from Dragon Ball to Sonic in the top spot is at one point Sonic just becomes a Dragon Ball movie. And I had the hugest, stupidest, widest smile on my face because of it. I loved it so much. So Zach is just restarting his laptop. He will be back momentarily. But that is my weekly ranking. Again, I enjoyed everything I watched to different degrees. So before Zach comes back, we'll get to your weekly rankings. And we start with our good friend, Jack Alexander. Number 10, A Christmas Carol. You'll have to let me know which one it is, because depending on which version of the Christmas Carol you've watched, I will I will maybe have issues with it being in last place. I'm assuming it isn't Mickey's A Christmas Carol, because that's the best version of the story ever. Number 9, The Charlie Brown Christmas. Number 8, The Order of the Phoenix. Number 7, Ron Howard's The Grinch. Oh, the 1984 version. I've actually never seen that one. I'm actually not even sure which one that is, like, who is in it. Number 7, Ron Howard's The Grinch. I'm not a fan of that film. I've come to realize that a lot of people love it, and hey, I wish I did. Fair enough. I do really enjoy Jim Carrey in that film. I'm just not a fan of the film itself. Number 6, A Midnight Clear, which I've never heard of, so I'm interested to know what that's about. Number 5, The Polar Express, and number 4, The Goblet of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Part 2, number 3, Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 2, Garfield's Christmas, and number 1, Christmas Vacation, which I do prefer to the original Vacation. All right. Tony Movie Chappie, who is now a moderator here on the channel. So if you're ever spamming anything, be on the lookout, because him, Eric Thorpe, Jico EP, Lady Aaron, our moderators are on the lookout for any naughty listers this year and every year, to be honest. Weekly ranking number 6, Saving Christmas. Number 5, Black Christmas. So the original and the 2006 remake are tied. Number 4, Christmas with the Cranks. Number 3, Jingle All the Way, which should be number 1. I don't care what anyone says. That should be number 1 for sure. Number 2, Home Alone, Lost in New York, and number 1, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So that's 2 weekly rankings straight where Christmas Vacation is at number 1. So that's a coincidence. I don't think we've ever gotten that where 2 different weekly rankings on our live chat have the same number 1, which is huge because at this point we've had 102 episodes. So it's interesting that it finally happened. It's an historic moment here on the final This Week in Geek of 2024. And now we still have to wait a little bit for Zach. Um, we still have to wait a little bit for Zach because he's still restarting his laptop, and I don't want to move on to the main topic, obviously, um, before we move on from the weekly rankings. So if anyone else is on the live chat, because I know there's 7 of you, we only have 2 people commenting right now. Let us know your weekly rankings. Give them to us from the worst to the best. Doesn't matter if you liked anything, if you didn't like anything. Um, Something that I watched this week, I didn't include in my weekly ranking because it's not something that I'm. What's the best way to put it? Interested in discussing, and I've only seen 3 episodes, and it's a show. Is I started watching Squid Game, the 2nd season. I'm 3 episodes in. I've seen 3 episodes, and here it is, Eric Thorpe, with his weekly ranking. So let me start with his before I keep on saying what I was about to say. Weekly ranking number 1, Mufasa the Lion King. Number 2, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Number 3, Batman Returns. Number 4, Skeleton Crew episode 5. Forgot to rank this. It would be probably above the Bionicle films because this show continues to bang every single episode. Number 5, Arcane, the season finale. I'm guessing it's the season. I don't remember how many episodes it had. I need to go back to it because I need to finish season 2. Number 6, Carry On. Number 7, Black Adam. And number 8, What If season 3, episode 1. Episode 1. Remind me, which one was episode 1 again? Because I just binged them all last weekend, so I should have ranked the What If show. It's good. I would rank it. I would rank it above Y2K, but below. Here he is. Hello, sir.
I had to switch to my MacBook,
No worries.
but bear with me. I'm only gonna have one screen, so don't worry about my weekly ranking.
No problem. What was the first episode of What If? Why am I blanking on what was the first episode of What If season?
Who's the Mech Avengers?
Oh yeah. No, I get it. Fair enough, Eric Thorpe. That was extremely disappointing.
The
If
What
you're gonna
If
promise
has
me the
been
Hulk, give
extremely
me the Hulk.
disappointing. Has been just extremely disappointing.
You didn't like the most insane episode of television of all time with
I've only watched the first 2.
Oh, okay, you haven't gotten to the craziest television episode ever with episode 4.
Yeah, I don't know if I care to see it.
It's insane. Yeah. But yeah, that first episode was really disappointing. If you're gonna promise me the Hulk, give me the Hulk. Don't make false promises, Marvel. So yeah. Like I was saying, I've also been watching Squid Game, the 2nd season. I'm 3 episodes in, better than the first season in every way because the first season was mid. And there's still some issues. I still think they're gonna end up screwing the pooch. I'm watching it just because I need that completion in my life. But I didn't love the first season of Squid Game. I think this one is superior, but it is not quite great yet. But I'm actually getting insight into the characters, which wasn't the case with the first season. So, from then on, we're going to go into our main topic, ladies and gentlemen. And we went from a topic that the original topic for this episode really made me mad. Now, this one just makes me sad because having just recently rewatched The Batman, we're going to end up waiting 5.5 years for The Batman Part 2. It was announced yesterday, came out on The Hollywood Reporter, that The Batman has moved from October 2nd, 2026 to October 1st, 2027. As per The Hollywood Reporter, Alejandro González Iñárritu and Tom Cruise are flying into the fall 2026 movie season. Their entitled feature will arrive on October 2nd, 2026, Warner Brothers announced Friday. that slides into the date previously occupied by Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2. Um, and they say it's currently untitled, but it was previously titled The Batman Part 2. I never heard anything that it wasn't called Part 2 anymore, but whatever. Uh, DC Studios film is expected. The DC Studios film, apologies, is expected to go into production in the third quarter of 2025 and is now set for October 1st, 2027. The Batman sequel has sported multiple release dates since it was announced in 2022, with the methodical Matt Reeves working to perfect the script. As quoted by James Gunn, and I'll just read the post he put up on Threads. Someone asking him if he could please confirm that this is true or not, even though it's on the Hollywood Reporter. Of course, it's true. James Gunn says, "Sure, yes, it is true. The only reason for the delay is that there isn't a full script yet. Those of you who follow me here probably know that already. Matt is committed to making the best film he possibly can, and no one can currently accurately guess exactly how long a script will take to write. Once there is a finished script, there is around 2 years for pre-production, shooting, and post-production on big films." And so that is the news. The Batman has been delayed another year. Like I said, this is going to equal a total of 5.5 years in between the Batman movies, which is very sad. Very sad. You look like you want to say something.
What if it gets delayed again?
Oh, God. It's going to be even sadder. If it gets delayed one more time, I'm going to be at the point where I don't believe this movie's coming out. I will believe it if it comes out, when it comes out, but I'm going to be fully into the pessimistic side of the line that divides between pessimists and optimists.
No, I fully agree. I mean, there was some things kind of going around. A lot of people saying, there's some other stuff going on, and maybe it comes to fruition, maybe it doesn't. Who knows at this point? But I mean, it did take Matt Reeves almost 5 years to make the last script for when he was signed on. So he is a perfectionist. I mean, he just takes his time. So I can't deny that I'm not excited about this. I also can't say that I'm not disappointed. I wish it was coming out tomorrow. We had the Penguin, and I was like, perfect. This is my nice little holdover. And then 2 years from now, I'm gonna get it. And now it's when this film comes out, I will be 30 years old, which I know, like,
How nice.
so young. Yeah, yeah, but it's still like blows my mind. But I want to ask you this though, as people are thinking, because also yesterday Andy Muschietti said Batman Brave and the Bold is postponed.
Can I let me just put something out. Batman the Brave and the Bold is not postponed, people. You need to have an actual release date to be postponed, for a movie to be Batman Brave and Bold never had a release date. Official one, at least. So it's not postponed. It's just delayed even more, which fine.
Delayed indefinitely with no release date still.
With no release date.
What is the chance that this becomes a part of the DCU?
I'm gonna give it.
I think there's a chance. I genuinely think there's a chance.
I'd give it like 25, pushing to 30%.
I'm gonna go 50-50. I'm honestly at the 50 mark, which for me, I want it separate. I
don't think it works at all.
See, and that's where I've kind of come around on that idea.
From the Superman trailer, and I guess Creature Commandos. Like this doesn't work.
But at the same time, part of me feels like I can see it working just in the way that they built up the Gotham City itself. It just feels like it would fit in that world. And always, when I've gone back from the comics between Batman and Superman, it's always felt like two separate worlds. So it's my only problem with it is it just feels like this Batman would never work with anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone. Like Catwoman, he was like, I don't really want to work with you, So it's going to be interesting, but I think it's a 50-50 shot. And the fact that this film is supposed to go in production after Superman comes out makes me think, okay, maybe I'm not saying that this script, because James Gunn said it, these scripts aren't meant to tie in and bring up. You might just hear something or do something. There might be a chance that Matt Reeves has 2 different scripts, basically the exact same story, but maybe little references here and there in one of them. And after Superman comes out, if it succeeds, which it looks like it probably will now, the Batman will have that. Okay, let's just say it is in this universe. But then at the same time, like, I don't know about you, I don't mind if there's 2 different Batmans running around right
I
now.
don't mind either, especially having seen the Batman. I just don't think you can put that world as it's been established into a world where Crypto the Superdog exists and Superman is fighting a kaiju, and you have Guy Gardner Green Lantern with a bowl cut, and Hawkgirl exists, and you have Themyscira, and you have Cersei, and you have Dr. Phosphorus and a weasel running around. I just don't think they fit together, because one thing is to make and right now we're all assuming that the Batman Part 2 is going to have Mr. Freeze as the villain. Let's just assume that for the moment, for the sake of argument. If you make a Batman the Part 2 where it's still just the Batman world all on its own, it's a completely different Mr. Freeze than if you make a Batman Part 2 in the same world where by the time Part 2 comes out, we have seen the Superman movie. I think there's different, I don't want to call them restrictions, but the world of the Batman works within a different set of rules depending on if you have it set in the same world as Superman and all that shit, or if you don't have it in that same world, if it's just its own isolated reality.
Yeah. Can I also ask you, which this isn't, it's never going to happen, but let's play the hypothetical fun thing. Did you watch Batman Cape Crusader?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I mean, it's so funny to me that like they're saying animated and all this stuff kind of like goes hand in hand. Wouldn't that have just, and Matt Reeves produced that, wouldn't have just been funny if that was the Batman?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Even though they wanted to portray it as a sort of not sequel, but follow up to Batman the Animated Series. Perhaps, maybe, arguably the greatest superhero animated series of all time. Maybe along with X-Men and Avengers or Mightiest Heroes.
And Batman Beyond.
Well, agree to disagree. Anyway,
Man, you wild, man. I prefer Batman Beyond.
to Batman the Animated Series?
1000%, yeah.
You are insane.
Now, can I defend myself?
Of course you can.
I watched Batman Beyond first.
Fair.
And that's what I grew up with.
Batman Beyond is the direct sequel to Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
So, how did you find Cape Crusader? Because I was disappointed in it.
I thought it was decent. I liked it. I thought it was good.
I thought it was.
I thought it was good. It didn't blow my mind.
I don't think they did it any favors by tying it so much to this is the follow up to Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It set itself up to fail on that principle.
It was different. It was.
And to be fair, I didn't think it failed. I thought it was a good show. But if at the start of 2024 you had told me by the end of the year you are going to prefer by far My Adventures with Superman to Batman the Cape Crusader, I would have told you you were insane. And turns out you weren't insane if you had told that to me. Because My Adventures with Superman is fantastic. That is such a fabulous show. But Zach, how do you think this gets in the way of maybe a Robert Pattinson playing the Batman for maybe one more movie after Part 2?
I also got to be honest with you. I think they're going to film them back to back. I think we're going to get an announcement that we're getting a Part 2 and a Part 3 back to back.
Ooh.
I think,
and it'll just be just a trilogy.
Yeah, I think 2027, 2028. Like if they're just waiting this long, whatever the case may be, whatever's going behind the scenes, I could see them being like, because they've already talked about that this is a trilogy. Like I remember Matt Reeves saying like we've set this up to be a trilogy. Or hear me out on this. Maybe 2 is so big, they film it and they cut it into 2 films, and then that's the 3rd film.
Mm-hmm.
That could also be the case
or
too.
3 hours both each.
I'm gonna say 2.5 on both.
Ooh, you don't think they go the full 3 hours like the first one?
I think they could, but I
Mm.
think if they cut it, like if they're like
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
just gonna, but yeah, that's what I could see. But also, it's like the TV show was such a success that it's like, will Pattinson really only be Batman for 2 more movies? Like that.
That's the
That's my
that's the
thing.
thing. The man is not old, don't get me wrong, but time doesn't stop for him, you know?
No, but
And what was he,
could we?
35 when he did the first one?
Yeah,
So 37 now. By the time the new one comes out, he'll be 42.
he'll be. Get this. I saw this on Twitter today. He will be as old as Christian Bale was in The Dark Knight Rises when the
Oh,
next one comes out.
oh man. Which is not a problem, let's be fair. Like the guy looks great. 42 is the 40 is the new
He
30.
still looks. Yeah, I was about
Yeah,
to say he still
exactly.
looks like
He could
30s.
still he could still do Edward Cullen and would
So
buy into it.
last thing I want. Do you think there's gonna be a time jump, like a massive time jump?
There has to be.
So, well, let me put it this way: you haven't finished Penguin, and I don't want to get into spoilers,
No.
but they said that Batman 2 picks up immediately after the Penguin.
And
Immediately after
and
the Penguin.
Penguin, I
Spans.
heard there's a time 1 year time jump into Penguin.
No, so
No.
it takes place. So it starts a week after,
Mhm.
and then there's not really like a definitive timeline of like how long it takes. But I mean, if Batman was October, right?
Mhm.
I would say, do you want to know what month it ends in? Like, I could probably give a pretty good
So the
guess.
Batman ends in November because the first movie takes place over the span of a week.
Okay,
I
so it
remember
ends
that.
November 1st. So then this would
Yeah.
start the week.
So
So
then
this,
Penguin starts on November, I don't know, 8th, whatever.
my guess is it ends around December, January. It doesn't tell you, but that would be my guess.
Okay. So like a month, maybe two. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little time jump in the middle
I
of the
I could
series.
see a year, maybe 2 years time jump, because then if you do that, you can start part two at a point where Bruce has already decided to like become Bruce Wayne and take over the company and all that. And by the time we start part two, Bruce Wayne is already established in the world of Gotham. So everyone knows Bruce Wayne. He's been back like
Mhm.
for 2 years after whatever. I think that's interesting. Again, I don't think you need to have like a realistic or real time jump within the films because you have to justify a lot of what happens if you do that. Because if you make the Batman Part 2 take place over 5 years or whatever after Part 1, there's a lot that you need to establish because the world didn't just stop within those 5 to 6 years or whatever,
Yep.
assuming they do
Mhm.
that big of a time jump. But I think it could perfectly work if they do 1, maybe 2 years.
Yep.
Um, and however the Penguin ends, again, I'm speaking out of my ass because I haven't seen how the Penguin ends yet. I've only seen the first episode still. Um, it you could just start it as the Penguin has taken over and he's now the biggest mob boss in all of Gotham, or bring in Sophia Falcone, bring in Kristen Milioti because she should be in every show. Again, if she dies in the show, do not spoil it for me. Just laugh behind my back, okay? Let's all be happy. You can laugh behind my back, and then I'll laugh at myself when I finally watch the finale. I don't know. Uh,
If the Penguin doesn't get a season 2, it is Ren's fault because anytime he doesn't watch a show and it doesn't get a season 2, it's his fault.
hey, Daredevil came back, okay? There's always hope.
Yeah.
See? He agrees with me. So, guys, this is look, let's face it, this is really sad news. I don't think anyone is happy that the Batman Part 2 has been delayed again. Because was it originally scheduled for this year or next year? I believe the original release date was 2025.
Next year,
Yeah,
then 2026.
and 2026, and so 3 release dates. It's starting to get to that point where 3 release dates is not a good sign for whatever is happening. Like Zach said, we don't know what's happening. And truth be told, as much as it sucks, we're not owed an explanation as to why it is being delayed so much if it has external factors. But what I always look for in these discussions is to be fair. And like I said, I am rooting for Matt Reeves. I am excited to see whatever he does next. But let me just look over something that James Gunn said online. James Gunn posted on Threads. To be fair, a 5-year gap is more is fairly common in sequels. No, it's not. But let's look over at what James Gunn said. I can't actually see the number. Shit. I think it's 7. Yes, 7 years between Alien and Aliens, 14 years between Incredibles, 7 years between the first two Terminators, 13 years between Avatars, 36 years between Top Guns, and of course, 6 years between Guardians Volume 2 and Guardians Volume 3. James Gunn, with all the respect, you're full of shit because these situations are not comparable. Aliens had to find a different director and get Ridley Scott's approval. Also, this was in the 80s. Incredibles was a matter of Pixar wanting to do it. Pixar wasn't concerned in doing sequels. Only when they got quote unquote desperate did they reach out to Brad Bird and said, please make a sequel. And he finally did it. And arguably, it came out too late. They waited too long. Cameron was making other films before the idea of Terminator 2. Also, this was in the 80s/90s. Avatar ran into way too many publicly known issues. The technology didn't exist. This guy had to create the technology to make this sequel possible. Maverick is a legacy sequel. Again, it is not applicable. This is just not comparable. And James Gunn, when he mentions 6 years between Guardians Volume 2 and 3, James, I don't know if you remember, but let me refresh your memory. You were fired. Unjustly fired, to be fair. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was originally dated for 2020 or 2021. Even so, I also don't know if you remember. Allow me to refresh your memory again. There was a pandemic in 2020. And again, you were fired in between these films. By the time you got back on the Disney payroll, you were already busy making Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad, my apologies. And before we even knew it, before it was publicly known, you perhaps had already agreed to become the head of DC Studios and had all these other plans offered to you before you came back. So please, let's not compare situations that are not comparable. Because you want to give, where are these? Aliens, Incredibles, Terminator, Avatar, Top Gun, Guardians. 6 examples. I can give you 6,000 where sequels take 2 to 3 years to come out. So, I mean, you want me to make the argument for him? He forgot to say that there was 12 years between Finding Nemo movies. Still, I can give you 7,000 sequels that came out within 2 to 3 years. So, again, I'm not rooting against Matt Reeves. I'm not dunking on Matt Reeves. It's just frustrating. And when people try to use these straw man arguments to validate the other perspective doesn't need to be validated. Like I said, we are not owed an explanation as to why the Batman Part 2 keeps on being delayed. It sucks. I don't want to wait. I wish we could have seen the film already. I wish the film was out today or tomorrow or when Nosferatu comes out, because I've already seen Nosferatu, so I'm a little bit selfish there. Let's not use straw man arguments, okay? These situations are not comparable to one another. And again, maybe external factors are getting in the way of Matt Reeves getting the sequel done. And as frustrating as it is, I'm still rooting for him. I just hope that the films and the franchise that this could be doesn't get damaged or taken away because of all these frustrating delays. Zach, do you want to add anything to my little rant there?
No, I mean, I agree for the most part. I think,
For the
they
most
are.
part, how dare you?
I think, sometimes it does take a while to make sequels. I think the examples he gave weren't really the best. Because there's a bunch of sequels that took years to get made. I mean, genuinely, like that's it. And there were probably better examples than that. But I mean, let Matt Reeves cook. And when the film eventually comes out, we will be the
So
judge.
good.
Was it worth the wait? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? All I will hope, and I'm leaning more on the side of that they're just doing 2 and 3 back to back at this point. Like, save you money. Plus, to be honest with you, I'm sure that's probably what James Gunn wants to do. If he's not going to be in the DCU, and they probably do, even though I think you can have 2 different Batman at the same time, they probably don't want 2 different Batman at the same time. That's just the thing. So,
Yeah.
oh well,
Could be.
we'll see.
All right, everyone. With that out of the way, remember to let us know your thoughts on this delay. What do you think of it? Are you nervous? Are you sad? Are you happy that the Batman was delayed? Because maybe you're one of those weird people that didn't like the Batman. And I don't want to be friends with you. I'm kidding. From then, we're gonna move on to the questions that you left on the community tab, and we're gonna get started with Geek. Aside from Post Malone, what are some of your other favorite albums or even songs of the year? For me, in terms of albums, I love The Cure, Songs of a Lost World, Jack White, No Name, Knocked Loose, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to, Magdalena Bay, Imaginal Disc, Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, which was the album of the year, and Kendrick Lamar, GNX. I don't know what two of these bands are. I didn't know The Cure had a new album, but I'm not too much of a Cure guy. Um, I didn't pay too much attention this year, so by default, I'm just gonna say Billie Eilish had the album of the year, and Lunch is the song of the year. How about you?
If I can't say Posties, then Kendrick's GNX. I love the album. So
Song of the year from that album?
I like Luther. Was I think you say her name is Caesar, featuring Caesar. So that's my favorite song.
Alrighty. Jigo P also asks, what is a movie from this year that you enjoyed but haven't thought about it since it came out? For me, even though I like these movies, I honestly forgot Twisters, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, and The Fall Guy came out this year. Up until last week, I would have told you that Twisters and The Fall Guy were going to be on a certain end of your list for me. So I certainly didn't forget those. Twisters particularly is one of the big surprises of the year. But even though I thoroughly enjoy it, I think at the time I even said it was one of my favorite of the franchise. Bad Boys Ride or Die. I forgot it came out this year. Um, what else?
I have one. A
Go
Quiet
go
Place
go.
Day One. I forgot it came out this year, but I
Oh
really liked
shit.
it.
I forgot Monkey Man came out this
That
year.
too.
Uh,
Ungentlementally Warfare. I thought
I still
forgot.
haven't seen it. Even though I
Holy
love, I
shit.
mean, I seem to have liked this movie more than most people. But Damsel, I forgot it came out this year.
Yeah.
Boy Kills World, I forgot came out this year.
Abigail.
Roadhouse, remember Roadhouse? That came out this year. Um, Kill was also a movie. Lisa Frankenstein, the same thing. Orion and the Dark. That movie looks so good. It was so fine. Um, I mean, there's
Did
quite a
Orion really
few.
come out this year? I thought that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, that
I
was
didn't
like
watch it, but
February, or it was either early February or late January, something like that. Yeah, and then we start getting into Spaceman. Remember Spaceman? Yeah, that was a thing apparently.
that was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't think it was terrible, but yeah, it wasn't good either. I'm not that I'm defending it. Do you want to take the next one?
Yes. Are you excited for Mel Gibson's new movie Flight Risk in January? I have my fingers crossed for it just because I love Gibson as a director. Sure. Like it's a January or January. It's a January movie. I mean, it could be great, it could be fun, it could be terrible. It could be like Plane with Gerard Butler. That was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
that was so good. I was so surprised how good that was.
Same.
I'm
Den of Thieves 2, man.
I'm interested. I was more excited when it was coming out in October, because I also love Mel Gibson as a director. And up until you brought it up on this question, I'm like, oh, that's right. Shit, that movie never came out, did it? And I just found out it's been delayed to January, which is not a good sign. Now, January movies are not what they used to be. Whenever something came out in January, back a few years ago, that was a surefire sign that, okay, this movie sucks. That's not the case anymore, thankfully. So it could be just a matter of There was a murderer's row of movies coming out in October, so let's just lay it to January, where there's nothing off the top of my head. I don't know what else is coming out in January.
Do you think Flight Risk makes more money than Craven?
How much is Craven at right now? Because
45 million worldwide.
Oh, damn. I hope so, just for the hell of it. The movie where Mark Wahlberg gets a bald cap and does a terrible New York accent makes more money than Craven the Hunter, a character who is associated with Spider-Man. Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure I contribute to it making more money than Craven, because I didn't get a press screening for Craven, so I contributed to the worldwide box office of Craven. So I'm gonna
Good
make
for
sure
you,
I
man.
contribute to the worldwide box office of Flight Risk. All right. Nathan Holton, will you be watching Better Man? If it's still playing when I get back to London, I will. Just out of sheer curiosity, because that monkey looks stupid as fuck.
I have no interest in this movie. I'll watch it when it's streaming. I have no
Alright.
interest in this movie at all.
What's next?
Nathan Holton, thoughts on Nolan's new movie? I cannot
Haven't seen it.
express. I can't express how excited I am for The Odyssey. That was one of my favorite books I ever read. Yes, I know I joke that I don't read, but I read that book so many times through junior high and high school.
You joke that you don't read. I joke that I can't read.
There you go. I cannot wait for this movie. I genuinely one of my most anticipated projects. 2026 is stacked for me.
It is.
Thank God the Batman left.
We just
actually.
lost one, but
Yeah, thank God the Batman left. Because my most anticipated film,
we're gonna be a three-way tie.
It was Odyssey, Toy Story 4, Dune, and
Oh yeah, Toy Story
Batman.
5 is coming out too.
So, because it's Toy Story has to be up there for me. So, but I don't know, man. Odyssey might take the cake. I'm really curious to see how fantastical he goes, because it seems like they're going all out, and the budget is higher than 250 million. So I'm gonna assume 325 is the budget. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's my favorite director doing Greek mythology, which I've been passionate about since I have memory. So I'm very fucking
the fact
excited
that he's doing a mythical movie. What?
Yeah, it's insane. I cannot wait to see it.
Can he do a God of War film next?
Please, yes. I would love to see that.
Let me tell you this. I would love to see Nolan adapt a video game. I don't care what it is.
Because God of War is going to be a show, Jonathan Nolan should do it.
And he's doing Fallout for Amazon. He has his deal with Amazon
Fallout
right now.
I don't care. Get God of War underway.
Have him do both. He has a deal with him. He can do both.
He's only a man. He's not a god.
His wife can work on Fallout, and then he can go work on God of War.
I'm fine with that. I would love to see them both working on God of War, but that's fine. I can live with that.
Okay. There you
go. Nathan Holton, have you read Becky Lynch and Drew McIntyre's books? Yes, I have.
You said you can't read though.
I lied.
Okay.
I read it in Braille.
Okay.
What's next?
Do you think John Cena will be 17-time world champion? No, because John Cena sucks. Next question.
I think there's a chance. Do I want to see it happen? No, because he doesn't need it. And if we make him 17-time champion, we're just going to get reminded of he beat Ric Flair. And nobody wants to be reminded of Ric Flair right now. Nobody wants to be associated with Ric Flair right now. So, Nathan Holton, recommended movie scores to listen to. Recently been listening to the Dune scores. Anything by Hans Zimmer, anything by John Williams, anything by Michael Giacchino, anything by Alan Silvestri, anything by what's his name? Black Panther, Mandalorian, Ludwig Göransson.
Ryan Coogler? Wait, what do you? I didn't hear the question, so I was just going off. You said Black Panther.
Recommended movie scores.
Oh.
The score for Skeleton Crew is really good.
I need to catch up on that
because it's been composed by the son of Michael Giacchino, Mick Giacchino. So they're very creative with their first names in that family. And like I said at the start of the show, the scores for the Bionicle movies for Nathan First. I don't remember if it's Nathan First or Nathan Thrust. but it's FURST or FRUST. I don't remember what's the order there. All right, what's next?
Thoughts on Skeleton Crew? I need to catch up, but I really like it. What about you, Ren?
I have a review for it on the channel. It's delightful so far. If you want any more insight, go check out that review.
Have you watched the newest ones or no?
Yes, I have. I'm
Okay.
entirely caught up. It's really good so far, and we're 5 episodes in, so we're over that halfway margin where it's like, okay, the show will at
Which
least
says
be
a
good.
lot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard I need to watch the last one because that's the one that my friend kind of spoiled it for me, thinking I watched it. And when he told me some stuff, I was like, I might actually love this show by the end of it.
This last one is not the biggest one to spoil, to be honest.
Okay.
There's a big shift in there, but it's something that it wasn't a matter of if it was going to happen, it's a matter of when it was going to happen.
Yeah. Sweet.
Lady Aaron, how was your Christmas this year? What did you end up doing for Christmas? What did you end up doing? How was your Christmas, and what did you end up doing for Christmas?
I opened presents, ate food, and sat and relaxed. That's it.
I ate food, I drank drinks, and I watched Y2K. So it was a very relaxed, traditional, calm Christmas. So yeah. What's next?
Nice. Thoughts on Denis saying that he doesn't allow cell phones on his movie sets? Cool. Christopher Nolan doesn't allow chairs.
It's
So.
not my movie set. I have nothing to do with it because I've never been on those.
But I get it. It's your set. It's what you
Yeah,
want.
it's his set. He's the director.
I wouldn't allow pineapple on my set. So.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Just
I don't know.
pineapple.
Could be distracting. Someone could be
Okay,
staring at it and
well.
trying to eat it. So
I wouldn't allow broccoli on mine if we're going the food route.
I had something I was gonna say, but I'm not gonna say it because it could come off insensitive, and that's not how I meant it. But then it's like, when you think of something and then this other thing pops up and you're like,
intrusive
I shouldn't say that because then someone could insinuate that that's what I meant it by.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
If
I'll tell you.
If
I'm gonna say.
Send it to me in the private chat. Oh Jesus, yeah. Good choice.
What went to your head?
The thing that went through your head. Not what you said. That didn't go through my head.
This.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
If I was working with Timothy Chalamet, I wouldn't allow peaches on my set.
Oh man.
All right. Lady Aaron, what ended up being the biggest surprises in terms of movies in 2024 for you guys? Not answering that question because there's a short coming out with the top 5 biggest surprises of 2024.
Same. I have a top 10 underrated movies that comes out tomorrow, which I fucked up. There's a couple films I missed, which means they're even more underrated. But there's 2 films on there that I say these are the 2 most surprising movies of the year.
What's next?
What ended up being the biggest disappointment in terms of movies in 2024? Do you have a video for this or no? Okay. I can say mine. Let me go and look. I'm not doing a video. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I love, just off the top of my head, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I loved Afterlife. I loved. What did you say?
Top 5 movies of the year.
You're fucking with me if you seriously think that. There's no. You went to 2 film festivals, and if that was true, no. There's
I'm joking.
You better be, because I was literally starting to think, I'm like, did he really like that one? I'm like, there's no fucking way. If I thought it was disappointing.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fine.
It wasn't a surprise or a disappointment because my favorite Ghostbusters movie is Afterlife. So I went to this one with the mindset of it's another Ghostbusters movie. I'll probably enjoy it. And I went out of it. I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Next one.
All right. Wait. Where are we? Okay. Lady Aaron, what were your top 5 movie scores of 2024 and why? There's no why. Dune is the first one. Nosferatu is the second one. Wild Robot is up there.
I have mine. If you still need to look,
go for it.
Challenger's my number one. Dune,
Oh, yes.
The Wild Robot, Nosferatu, and then either Conclave, or I don't think I have another one.
I'll shout another one out, which is insane because of the movie that it is, but also I've never been the biggest fan of this composer. Junkie XL score for Sonic 3
Yeah, that was
goes
really
so
good.
fucking hard.
Yeah, that was
It's
really good.
so good. All right, what's next?
Who's an actor and actress that you think had a very good 2024? Glenn Powell. I think Glenn
Glenn
Powell had
Powell?
an amazing. I would say Sebastian Stan. I didn't get
Yeah.
to see the Trump movie, but A Different Man, he was really, really riveting
It's
in
a
that.
good movie. The Apprentice. It's
Yeah.
much fairer than I expected.
hmm
I
And then
was
actress
genuinely
wise, I just want to give a shout out to Demi Moore, of course, for The Substance, like that
surprised.
phenomenal performance there. But also Mikey Madison and Lily Rose Depp. Like that was great to see two actresses
Yeah.
who have had, like Mikey was great in Scream, but that's about it. And now she's, front runner in my opinion. And then Lily Rose Depp, she took over a role from
revelation.
Anya Taylor-Joy, and honestly, after watching Nosferatu, I could not see Anya Taylor-Joy do that role. Like that's
like
just like that. That's the way. Really, I couldn't.
After seeing the movie, I wouldn't take Lily Rose Depp. Excuse me, I wouldn't take her out to get the Anya Taylor-Joy version, but I can
Mhm.
absolutely see Anya doing that version.
Yeah.
Glenn Powell, absolutely, he cemented himself as a movie star, perhaps the movie star of the new generation. Nick Holt has had a great 2024. Um, Florence Pugh again, but Florence Pugh almost can't be the number one because she's just so consistently great for the past few years. Um, and yeah, those are my ones. Can't really think of anything else. But Nick Holt and Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell had like 2 great movies out. Nick Holt had 3 great movies out all around the same time. I think there is somewhere right now where you can go to a cinema and The Order, Nosferatu, and Juror Number 2 are all playing at the same time. So
Mhm.
the man certainly has a great certainly had a great 2024. Next up, what are the most overrated movies of 2024 and the most underrated movies? Again, same thing.
I have a
Videos
video.
coming out.
Yep. Yep.
I don't have a video for overrated. Let me think. I want to stir the pot a little bit. What is the most overrated?
Wicked.
I don't know because Wicked is one like it's not that high up for me. It's my number 33, but like I get
I
it.
have one.
Go.
Baby Girl. I don't get it.
Oh yeah, 100. Baby Girl, like it's so mid. It's such a mid film.
That one and Smile too.
Oh no, Smile 2 isn't.
I wasn't. I don't know. I'm in the
love Smile
minority.
2 so much.
I wish I did. I
Smile 2 is gonna be in my
liked
honorable mention.
Naomi, but I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Underrated. I have another underrated. Moana 2. Moana 2 super underrated. Gets way too
I
much.
agree with that. I like that movie a lot.
Next up,
What was your favorite performance from an actor and actress, and what was your least performance? Can't say because I gonna tie that into a video.
That's one of
And
those
also
questions
tough.
you gotta look at a list, think about it, and really put into perspective everything. It's not something that you can come off with something off the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
What were your favorite TV show moments of 2024? Same thing. That's not something I can answer fairly off of the top of my head. But Magneto's speech from X-Men
My
97,
favorite,
the best thing.
yeah. I mean, just off the top of my head, the ending of the Penguin, the final shot, my favorite. Most anticipated TV show for 2025. I don't know why you're asking this because it's literally the most obvious one, like for both of us. Like there's nothing else that trumps this. And if Ren can't think of this, I'm gonna be pissed at him because I'm not saying my.
Whoa!
There is one TV show.
Hold up.
There's one TV show that we're both most anticipating, and people watch our channel.
Oh yeah. Daredevil, Born Again.
No, you're fucking crazy. You're
What?
fucking crazy.
What?
You're fucking crazy.
What am I forgetting?
The Last of Us.
Oh shit, that's right. You're right. Shit. Yes. Fuck. Oh no. Yes.
Okay, let me
yes,
ask you:
yes, yes, yes.
Daredevil or Last of Us? You can only see one.
The Last of Us. Daredevil is number 2, and it's solidly number 2. But The Last of Us. There's nothing else besides The Last of Us for me.
Yeah.
All right. My, I forgot this was 2025, man. I'm sorry.
Sad.
What were your top 3 best video games of 2024? Number 1, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Number 2, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and number 3, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
I have a video coming out next week, so I can't
Oh.
say.
What's next?
If you guys could go back in time and edit 1 year and best movies year and edit 1 year and worst movies year, what would it be and why? I don't do too many worst ones, so I can't say best one. There's only, I don't like going back and changing. I think the only thing I might go and change is the year the Batman came out. I would have made that my number 1, just on like pure rewatches. That film was like really climbed up the tower for me. And then the year La La Land came out, I had that as my number 1, but I think I might move Arrival to my number 1. I had it as number 2, but I don't know. Ask me a different day.
I'm going back to 2016 and putting La La Land at my number 1 because I didn't get a chance to see it until late January 2017. But it's for sure the number 1 film that year. Arrival was my number 6, so I think I'd keep it around that because then my number 2 was Captain Fantastic, which is no pun intended fantastic.
That movie's so good.
It's incredible. But Aaron, what can we expect from your channels in 2025? Probably a lot of videos that will not get me to 6,000 subscribers.
I wrote down a ton of stuff I want to do, but I don't know what I will actually do.
I will. I've written down a ton of stuff up until June or July.
Yeah, I have like,
if things go okay, I'll be very busy.
Yeah, I have like new ideas and things I want to do, but I don't know if I'll have the time to do them yet. But we'll see. But yeah, cool stuff. Just more videos though. That's basically it.
No, don't you dare say it because it's not. It's fucking incredible, Eric Thorpe. Don't you dare.
I'm gonna block him.
All right. What's next?
LS. Hi, Ren. Today's my husband's birthday. Andrew Seif, who happens to be one of your biggest fans. Can you kindly give him a birthday shout out? He was also sad to hear the Batman movie was delayed again. Yes. Happy birthday, Andrew.
Absolutely. We love Andrew over here. He's always a big supporter. Happy birthday, Andrew. Celebrate accordingly. I'm not sure how old Andrew is, but if you can drink at this point, drink, but drink responsibly. Have one on me. I'm a whiskey man, so if you like whiskey, have one of those. All right. Next up, G. Kobe P. Since it was the original topic. Oh, here we go. You guys want to see a Ren rant? You're going to get a Ren rant. Thoughts on the Sony CEO saying critics killed the Sony spin-offs. Zach, do you want to get started?
His name's Tom, right?
Tony.
See, I don't give a fuck to know. Tony, you sound very bitter that you maybe didn't get your year-end bonus. And I apologize.
Oh, I don't.
But 2 different things. 1, make better movies. 2, you're blaming the critics, but your critic screening in Arizona was at 10 a.m. for Madam Web. Not a lot of people can go to those. And then your trailer sucked. Craven was at 7.
No, sorry.
But it's
Zach,
funny.
Sorry to correct you, but your single trailer sucked.
Yeah. Your marketing sucked too. Craven, you pushed back like 30 times. The film feels butchered. So I don't know what happened there. And then third, it's funny because your press screening was the farthest away from a majority of critics, but it was actually right next to my house. So thank you for doing that so I could go to it.
I saw that cinema, by the way.
You did.
We passed by it a couple of times.
Yes.
All right, Tony. First of all, fuck you, Tony. Number 2, Tony, why are you trying to gaslight the audience? The audience is not stupid. If you sell a shitty product, people are gonna see that the product is shitty. Also, you delayed Craven 30 times. The first few times, a couple of months. The last time, an entire year, because you had another round of reshoots to supposedly make the film better. I saw the final film. What the fuck did you make better? If that was the improvement, what the fuck did you improve on? Because that was one of the worst pieces of shit I have seen millions, hundreds of millions of dollars wasted on. It's a waste of talent. It's a waste of your crew. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of resources. Your company is tanking right now, and you lost faith because in your marketing, you're deliberately trying to trick people into believing these movies are associated with Spider-Man. And then you don't allow your storytellers, your talent to have any sort of vision in these movies. You don't allow these movies to be stories at all. You are mandating moments and scenes and connections that you then feel shy about completely be blatant about. Why are you so shy? Why are you so afraid to associate these films with Spider-Man? You have the rights. You're not infringing on anyone's IP. You're not stepping on anyone's toes. So again, to reiterate, fuck you, Tony, and stop blaming the audiences. If your movies suck, it's your fault. If the movie did well on Netflix, it's because people don't need to get out of the house and spend money on a night out to get drinks and popcorn and a movie ticket and wait 40 fucking minutes for trailers. That's right. I've now been to a movie in America. I actually went to see one of your movies, Tony. So you're welcome for my money. I don't
You
know.
wasted 2 hours of your
I
life.
wasted 2.5 hours, sir. The best part of going to see Madam Web is that I went to Buffalo Wild Wings right before it. I'm not sure if it was actually a Buffalo Wild Wings, but it was one of those sports bar where I had wings and incredible nachos. Your popcorn, I mean, the popcorn is not on Tony, but the popcorn at AMC sucks as well.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
AMC popcorn sucks ass. AMC
Popcorn,
theaters just sucks in general.
he agrees. We all agree. They all suck. Best popcorn in the world is still here in Portugal. It sucks in the UK. It sucks in France. It sucks in Spain. It sucks in Italy. It sucks in Amsterdam. It sucks in the US. Sorry. Tony, again, fuck you. Stop trying to gaslight your audience. The movie did well on Netflix because all people had to do was click on it and put it in the background.
I
There
watched
was
it on
no effort
Netflix.
whatsoever. Did you watch it on Netflix?
Yeah.
What did you think? I didn't know you'd seen it by now.
Yeah. It was fine. It was the cinematography was pretty.
Oh, okay, that's a first. Something
That's the
positive
only thing
about
that's
it.
the only thing I liked about the movie.
This is the guy who says that he doesn't understand why people aren't going to see Craven because it's not actually a bad movie. But then he blames critics for Madam Web tanking. So what exactly is the problem, Tony? Do you know what's happening or do you not know what's happening? Because you're running out of excuses and you're being very inconsistent in your excuses from movie to movie. You know why the Venom
If the
movies
movies were if the movies
no, go
were
ahead.
good, then and they bombed, okay. There might be an issue. Your movies suck. Point blank.
The only reason the Venom movies were any success at all is because number one, Tom Hardy is a fucking movie star. Number two, Venom is the most well-known character out of all of these. What also helped is that Venom has already been in a cinematic film before in Spider-Man 3. And yet, after everything is said and done, that version that we all hated in 2007 is still the best cinematic version of Venom, the best movie Venom has ever been in. So, Tony, reflect a little bit, take a shit, rub it on your face, because that's what you deserve. Fuck you, Tony. All right, I'm done with my rant.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Gets
Okay.
banned from every Sony screening now.
Oh, I don't care. I still won't pay for it. I'm gonna get a +1, all the same. Luis, no, it's your turn. Sorry.
Luis Feliciano. Thoughts on the passing of Olivia Hussey, best known for Romeo and Juliet, Black Christmas, Jesus of Nazareth. Honestly, I've never seen any of those. So
I've never seen any of those either. You failed to mention the only project I know her from. She is Topanga's aunt in Boy Meets World. When Topanga is about to leave for Pittsburgh, she gets to stay with her aunt, who shows up in one episode. That's Olivia Hussey.
Yeah, it's sad. Rest in
It's
peace.
sad.
But
Yeah,
that's
I
about
don't know
all
how
I
old
have.
she was. I don't know what the cause of death was. Again, I only know her from that one episode of a 7-season show. So it's just really sad, but I can't really say I was familiar with her or her work. All right. So movie Chappie, hey Ren and Zach, I've been thinking about this for a while now, and do you think I could start on channel to where I just talk about Neil Blomkamp and his films and news about him and many other. Uh, if you want to, sure.
You have
I
enough
don't.
content to make though, because is he making enough movies? That's what I would say.
That's true. But if it's what you want to do, if it's what you enjoy, go for it, man.
Are those your favorite movies of all time? I'm just curious.
Oh, I thought you
Oh
were
no no
asking
no
me.
no! I'm just asking him. Like, are those your favorite movies of all time?
Yeah.
Like
Fair.
in order: Chappie, District 9, Elysium, Gran Turismo, that other shitty horror film he made.
Oh, the Monarch was so shit.
But yeah, please let me know because I'm just curious.
All right. What's next?
He asks also, do you think test screenings are good and bad for movies, especially with reshoots? Just depends. I've heard some movies where they're completely terrible. They do test screenings, and then the film comes out great because the director got great feedback. Split. I've been in a test screening. I saw Split. The original cut of Split was not a good movie. It was 2.5 hours and was boring. It was very, very boring. Sterling K. Brown was in it. Him and the therapist were the main characters of that movie. And that was the worst thing. We gave feedback. I did not go see the film opening night because I thought it was just going to be the same thing. And then everyone's talking about a twist. I'm like, what twist? Went the next day and watched it. And I'm like, oh my God, this movie's like vastly different. So reshoots, fixing of the editing. Because I think M. Night just went back and re-edited the entire film. Maybe he did a couple reshoots here and there, but test screenings can be good, and they can also be bad. The Gray Man, let's put this one in perspective, was supposed to be an R-rated John Wick action film. That film is PG-13 on Netflix. My friend saw the R-rated version, came out swooning, and when you watch that film, you can tell where they cut, where it was supposed to be very more brutal. And when he even saw it, he told me, he goes, they changed that, they changed this, they changed that, they changed this. His friend saw the PG-13 cut and said that was the exact version that Netflix went with. So it's always interesting.
They can be good, they can be bad. It just really depends on the filmmaker / the studio's approach to it. A lot of movies just do test screenings to get a sense of where they're going, how they should market it, because they can't even afford reshoots.
That too.
So test screenings are not necessarily to see if they have reshoots, because I can tell you right now, a friend of mine went to a Transformers 1 test screening early this year. That movie didn't get reshoots. That movie didn't get anything added to it. It was the exact movie he saw. It was just a matter of finishing the animation.
Yep.
So yeah, I went to one test screening once. It was the Ma screening. And there was only one shot that was missing from it. I still haven't seen the movie in and of itself ever since it came out. I just remember the one shot of the house burning, the over the head shot, house burning, and the house was CGI. So you just saw a house with a lot of smoke and then just a little few sprinkles of fire. So it was like, why is that concerning? Oh, okay, I get it. The house should be actually burning.
Yeah, I'll say this. I know someone who just saw Hoppers, that Beaver Pixar film.
Oh, nice.
It was not done at all. Nothing at all was done. It was like they had
storyboards.
They had 2 or 3 scenes that was actually animated, and then everything else was storyboards, basically.
Oh wow!
With the voice acting. So,
all right. Voice
acting. They said it was good. They said they liked it. They liked it a lot.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, oops, never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the final question of 2024 from our friend Eric Thorpe, who asks, thoughts on Mufasa having made about double Sonic 3's box office, and despite opening weekend numbers domestically, making it seem like Sonic was demolishing it. I'm happy Mufasa is making a comeback worldwide. I love it. Well, that's very good. I like Mufasa. I think it's good. I think it just chose the completely wrong framing device for it. Whenever it's Mufasa's story, it works. Whenever it's not, it really doesn't work. Um, I like it. It feels like families were just waiting for that Christmas weekend to go for it.
Mhm.
Also, like I said at the beginning when I was doing the weekly ranking, for example, Portugal just only this week got Sonic 3. So it didn't even come out everywhere in the world. From the very start of the weekend, Mufasa was doing better worldwide. But also, Mufasa is a sequel to a film not many people cared about, unfortunately, which I don't get. And Sonic has been a franchise that has been building momentum. It started with a mid movie. They delivered after that a really fun movie, and now delivered a great movie that I cannot wait to see more of. So they're both good choices to go to the cinema for, and families clearly are going for both from what the box office is reflecting. Maybe Sonic is having a bigger drop just because it made so much on opening weekend, but I don't think it's a bad sign for either of them at all. I think it's just a sign of both of these movies are doing pretty well.
I'll put it this way. So my friends who have kids, half of them, all of them went and saw Sonic opening weekend. None of them, but all of them wanted to see Mufasa. They waited till this weekend to go see Mufasa because they had family in town. They had other kids visiting, and that seems to be the case here. Maybe it would have been smarter if Mufasa just opened on the 25th instead of the 20th.
Against Nosferatu.
Yeah, which Nosferatu's doing really good. I don't think enough people are talking about that box office
Nope.
success. It's doing very well. A Complete Unknown's doing really well. This is the time that people make money. I know it's the fun thing to shit on Disney and stuff like that, but
it always is.
Like, for me, Mufasa is going to make its money back. It probably already has just with the worldwide total, or almost at least broken even. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the last one no one really cared for. Mufasa was kind of already fighting an uphill battle, but it's a fun movie. It just should have had better fucking songs.
It should have had any good fucking songs.
Yeah,
because none of them were even good.
No, you know what they should have done to do the framing device? They should have had Kira and Rafiki going on a journey to meet Simba and and maybe you have Timon and Pumbaa with them, but
they should have had
symbolize
any conflict at all in it. It was just like, where are my parents? They're having a kid. Shut up. Like, we know what's happening, or at least they should have not let us know they were just having a kid. That they should have just framed it as they disappeared. Because from the beginning, you're like, okay, they're just going over there to have a kid, and then she's like, oh my god, I'll never see my parents again. They're over there. They're just.
They couldn't afford Beyonce that much, though.
Good. I'm glad, because she sucked in the first one. She can't act with a gun to her head. Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus Christ. All right.
True.
I'm good. Act. Let's say Happy New Year's, man, before we get canceled.
You're not canceling me over saying Beyonce can't act. She can't act.
I mean, other people might.
No. I'm talking to all those people that might want to do it. You can't, because it's true. All right, everyone. With that done, thank you so much, not just for joining us in this episode of This Week in Geek. Thank you for joining us all over this year. Stay tuned for the end of year lists. Many of them are coming. The final review for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is now up. The review for Anora that you all voted you wanted to see is now up. Go check those out and stay tuned, because the best and worst and all the lists in between are coming, as well as the most anticipated movies of 2025 coming on the first few days of January 2025. Happy New Year. Celebrate, drink responsibly, have fun, and we'll see you next week. Until then, love each other and love the movies. Bye-bye, everybody.